In the heart of North America, a monumental structure is taking shape, the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Stretching across the Detroit River, it links the United States and Canada, symbolizing a century of partnership. Designed as a testament to cooperation, it promised to secure a vital trade corridor for generations. Yet as its towers rose, an unexpected challenge emerged, not on the construction site, but in Washington, D.C. In 2018, the Trump administration imposed steep tariffs on imported steel and aluminum, aiming to protect American industries. For this international project, the tariffs created a major problem. The very materials needed to build the bridge were now at the center of a trade dispute. Costs soared, casting a shadow over one of the continent's most ambitious infrastructure projects. Construction crews worked daily to connect Detroit and Windsor, even as a trade war threatened to pull them apart. The tariffs risked inflating the budget, disrupting supply chains, and straining the relationship the bridge was meant to celebrate. The Gordie Howe Bridge became a microcosm of North American integration, clashing with economic nationalism. It raised fundamental questions. How could two nations build a future together amid such economic headwinds? This story explores the bridge's importance, the impact of Trump-era tariffs, and the effects on businesses, workers, and supply chains. Despite the dispute, the bridge pressed on, a symbol of resilience in uncertain times. The conflict over the bridge was about more than steel and concrete. It was about the future of cross-border cooperation. The outcome would test the strength of the U.S.-Canada alliance. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is an engineering marvel, one of the longest cable-stayed bridges in North America. Its twin towers in Detroit and Windsor soar over 700 feet, supporting 6 lanes of traffic across nearly 2 miles. More than a bridge, it's a state-of-the-art facility for the 21st century, with lanes for cyclists and pedestrians. Named after a hockey legend who embodied cross-border spirit, it's a fitting tribute to U.S.-Canada ties. The bridge is a public-private partnership, financed almost entirely by Canada, a gesture of goodwill and investment in shared prosperity. It supplements the aging, privately owned Ambassador Bridge, ensuring a secure modern trade link. The project includes massive ports of entry on both sides equipped with advanced customs and traffic management technology. The goal: reduce wait times and streamline the flow of goods, making North American businesses more competitive. The bridge is a forward-looking investment built on the expectation that trade will keep growing. It's a statement of confidence in the U.S.-Canada alliance and the power of trade to create jobs and prosperity. As the towers reach for each other, they form a powerful visual metaphor. Two nations, strong alone, choosing to connect. This symbolism made the later trade dispute all the more jarring. The bridge's construction was meant to unite, not divide. Yet, the project's very materials became a battleground for economic policy. The bridge's story is one of ambition, partnership, and unexpected conflict. The journey to build the Gordie Howe International Bridge was long and complex. Decades ago, studies warned that the aging Ambassador Bridge was a bottleneck for booming trade. A single, privately owned crossing posed risks. Any disruption could cripple both economies. The idea for a new, publicly overseen bridge gained momentum, but faced fierce opposition, especially from the Ambassador Bridge's owner. Legal challenges and lobbying delayed progress for years. A breakthrough came in 2012. Canada agreed to finance the entire project, including the U.S. port of entry, to be repaid through future tolls. This bypassed U.S. political gridlock and showed Canada's commitment to securing the trade corridor. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority was created to oversee the project, and a private consortium was chosen in 2018 to build and maintain the bridge. Just as construction began, the U.S. imposed steel and aluminum tariffs, sending shockwaves through the industry. The project's budget and supply chain had been set in a world of free trade. Now its very foundation was being taxed. The timing couldn't have been worse. The bridge, years in the making, was suddenly caught in a new era of trade hostility. The tariffs threatened to derail years of planning and international cooperation. The project's future hung in the balance, testing the resolve of its backers. The bridge's origin story became one of perseverance against political and economic headwinds. The Detroit-Windsor corridor is North America's most important land border crossing. Before the new bridge, a quarter of all U.S.-Canada merchandise trade passed through this narrow gateway. Over 10,000 trucks cross daily, carrying auto parts, produce, machinery, and more, worth over $300 billion annually. The auto industry, with its just-in-time supply chains, depends on reliable crossings. Even brief delays can halt production. The aging Ambassador Bridge was a vulnerability for the entire system. The Gordie Howe Bridge was designed to relieve this pressure and ensure reliability for industries on both sides. Agriculture and manufacturing also rely on this crossing for efficient movement of goods. The bridge is critical national infrastructure supporting jobs from California to Quebec. By reducing congestion and speeding up crossings, it's projected to generate billions in economic benefits. It will lower transportation costs, create thousands of jobs, and strengthen North American competitiveness. The bridge is a down payment on the continent's future prosperity. Its success is vital for both nations' economic health. In 2018, the Trump administration imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, citing national security. Canada's temporary exemption was lifted, and its steel and aluminum faced heavy taxes at the border. The Gordie Howe Bridge, requiring vast quantities of both metals, was hit hard. The project's financial model hadn't accounted for a 25% jump in steel costs. The tariffs threatened the $4.8 billion Canadian budget and disrupted carefully planned supply chains. Planners had intended to source materials from both U.S. and Canadian suppliers, but tariffs forced a shift toward American steel, regardless of cost or proximity. The Bridging North America Consortium scrambled to adapt, reevaluating suppliers and budgets. Canada retaliated with its own tariffs, escalating the trade war and souring business relations. The bridge, meant to symbolize cooperation, became a casualty of protectionist policies. The irony was stark. A project built for unity, caught in a dispute over the very materials it needed. The trade war complicated every decision, from sourcing to logistics. The bridge's progress was threatened, but not stopped. The project pressed on, determined to overcome the political storm. The tariffs had immediate, far-reaching effects on the Gordie Howe Bridge project. Steel suppliers faced soaring costs, forcing tough negotiations and squeezing profit margins. Workers on both sides of the border felt the impact. Canadian steelworkers lost business, while U.S. manufacturers faced higher costs. The tariffs disrupted decades-old supply chains, forcing companies to find new suppliers and navigate complex customs rules. Specialized components, like massive steel girders, became harder and more expensive to source. The added costs and delays rippled through the entire project, ultimately borne by Canadian taxpayers. The tariffs created winners and losers, but mostly added friction and uncertainty. Despite the challenges, the project adapted, weighing every sourcing decision carefully. The bridge's construction became a case study in the unintended consequences of trade barriers. The tariffs didn't stop the bridge, but they made every step harder. Despite the tariffs, the Gordie Howe Bridge project never stopped. The Canadian government and Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority remained committed, viewing the tariffs as a hurdle, not a deal-breaker. Project leaders worked with the construction consortium to manage rising costs and seek exemptions for specialized steel. The North American supply chain's resilience helped. Companies adapted, absorbed costs, and kept the project moving. Thousands of workers and hundreds of companies pressed on, pouring concrete and raising towers. In May 2019, the US, Canada, and Mexico agreed to lift the tariffs, clearing the way for the new USMCA trade deal. The lifting of tariffs brought relief and restored efficient sourcing. The bridge had weathered the storm, a testament to perseverance and cross-border cooperation. The project's momentum proved unstoppable, even in turbulent times. The bridge's progress became a symbol of resilience and determination. The tariff period was a stress test for US-Canada trade. It showed that even close allies aren't immune to protectionism, but also revealed the strength of their economic ties. Trade rebounded after the tariffs were lifted, and the Detroit-Windsor corridor remains vital. The USMCA provided renewed stability, and businesses adapted to new realities. The Gordie Howe Bridge stands as a symbol of resilience and the enduring logic of North American integration. The project's survival through the trade dispute underscores the deep-rooted need for cooperation. The lesson is clear. Border friction hurts both sides, but shared interests prevail. The bridge's completion is a case study in overcoming political turbulence. It proves that economic geography and partnership are powerful forces for progress. The Gordie Howe Bridge's story is one of vision, conflict, and resilience. Tariffs imposed real costs and uncertainty, but the project endured through steadfast commitment and necessity. The bridge now stands as a monument to perseverance and the enduring US-Canada partnership. It's poised to meet 21 century challenges, strengthening supply chains and supporting jobs. The structure is a tangible investment in a shared future, betting on cooperation over conflict. Yet the political forces that sparked the trade dispute haven't vanished. Will the bridge be the last great monument of free trade, or a model for future cross-border cooperation? Its legacy will depend on whether nations choose unity over division in the years ahead.